AI, man. AI is definitely a very divisive thing. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are kind of indifferent about it. A lot of people will say that it kind of takes away jobs from people who would otherwise have a job because AI took their job. Personally, to me, I don't have an issue with AI. I think it's fine to use AI in moderation as long as you don't solely rely on AI to do everything for you, because then you end up with a soulless product. Like, if you can assign an AI to do 10% of the work for you to do a monotonous task so you don't have to do it, that's cool, and I actually think it's pretty awesome. But if you're gonna make a product and use 90% AI to get that product finished, then you're gonna end up with a soulless feeling slop product. So, why do I bring that up? Well, because Elon Musk wants to make a game studio with AI to quote-unquote make games great again. Elon Musk says he'll make an XAI game studio to make games great again, and it's by Paul Tassi. And yes, the same Paul Tassi that cried about sexualized characters in The First Descendant, but is completely fine with The Last of Us 2 sex scenes, which is totally the sign of a mentally stable individual. Elon Musk has recently inserted himself into gaming culture wars, bemoaning what he and others believe are quote-unquote woke portions of the market. Now, Elon, a gamer himself, says that he's starting his own AI-based game studio with XAI to make games great again, in a quote tweet of a follower saying that developers and game journalists have been ideologically captured. I mean, it's kind of obvious that some developers are ideologically captured, and especially journalists. Honestly, journalists more so than anybody else in this industry, because when the whole Sweet Baby situation broke out, every single journalist had the exact same opinion. They were so ideologically captured that they actually called people racist for not supporting an openly racist company. Their ideology has completely destroyed the rationing and logic part of their brain. But is AI really the solution to this? Well, no. In my opinion, no. Because while ideologically captured devs are definitely a problem in the gaming industry, another big problem is soulless products that just feel like copy-paste slop. And you know what doesn't have a soul? A robot. AI. Do you really think a robot would be able to tell as good of a story as something like the original Silent Hill 2? I don't fucking think so. However, as bad as the products would probably be if they were made by AI, I would still rather give my money to AI than a developer who talks about how they don't like white dudes. This, of course, raises many questions about the viability of such a project, even with Musk's vast resources. Despite his accomplishments, many of his predictions and ideas don't exactly come to pass. His past claim that everyone would soon be using X as a banking app, for instance, comes to mind. What exactly an AI game studio consists of is unclear, given that yes, AI has certainly taken off in many fields, but it has been rejected for widespread use in gaming. I feel like that is a very valid question that a lot of people have. What is an AI game studio? Are all the ideas done by AI? Or does the AI just maybe make the terrain? Does somebody go over to the AI and say, make me a grassy terrain with trees and caves and settlements, and then the AI do that part of the game? Or is the AI just making all of the combat, the story, and all that stuff, and there's very minimal actual input from the developers? Either way, I'd rather a handcrafted experience either day where everything is handcrafted from the world to the combat to the story to everything. But something like AI-generated terrain wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because I remember playing games like Ark when I was younger, and you could make these AI-generated, procedurally generated worlds, and they really weren't that bad. In fact, some of them were pretty fucking dope, I'm not gonna lie. However, none of them ever came close to the amazing worlds created by actual humans. Either way, back to the article. And even hints of it in game art or storytelling have been roundly rejected by both players and the developers themselves. Yeah, personally, fuck no, I do not want an AI story. A central question would also be how many game developers would want to head over to an Elon-run, AI-centric game studio. Well, considering how many devs nowadays love to cut corners with their work, I'd say a lot. I mean, hell, so many modern devs can't even be bothered to fucking optimize anymore. You think they wouldn't be gleeful at the idea of an AI optimizing for them? The central premise here is odd, where he laments that too many game studios are owned by massive corporations. Musk himself is the richest man in the world. XAI raised $6 billion in Series B funding and may be valued at $40 billion. Electronic Arts' market cap is $43 billion for comparison's sake. Well, to be 100% honest with you, if Dragon Age the Veilguard is the best that EA can come up with, I'd much prefer a fucking AI game. But you know what I'd prefer even more than an AI game? An older game with actual soul. A newer indie game with some actual soul. While it's definitely preferable to have an AI game over an EA slop game, I mean, why would you play an AI game when you have older games with soul and indie games with soul? By definition, an XAI game studio would be run by a massive corporation. And yeah, I think that's pretty hypocritical on Elon's part to say that too many games are owned by massive corporations, so here's my massive corporation to make games. Like, that is a very hypocritical thing to say. What kind of game would Elon's studio make? His favorites have been Cyberpunk 2077 and most recently Diablo 4, where his clear times in that game's high-end content are among the world's best. Those are both massively expensive AAA games that took years to make and something that went through their own trials and tribulations. Making something on that scale for an AI game studio backed by someone by little experience in making games would be challenging. As for what a quote-unquote not woke, not ideologically captured game might look like, who knows what the standards are there. This year, the games that held up as meeting that criteria are ones like Stellar Blade, The First Descendant, and Black Myth Wukong. Well, I'm gonna be completely honest here, those are some damn good fucking games. Well, besides The First Descendant, because they embrace the pay-to-win bullshit. You could also add like a lot of Nintendo games to that list, and games like Space Marine 2. And I damn well know for sure that those games are better than games, for example, that Sweet Baby would make. But the question is, do I think AI would be capable of creating a game that good? And my answer to that question is, not really. I don't think no AI is going to be making a game at the quality level of Black Myth Wukong or Space Marine 2 or Stellar Blade. I think it might be able to make something at the level of maybe Pal World, but I don't think it's making no masterpiece. Whether this actually amounts to anything is anyone's guess. It's difficult to know when Elon is just saying things, or whether one of his random musings, how much does Twitter cost? I don't know, you're the fucking journalist here, results in some earth-moving development. In this case, the formation of an AI-driven game studio coming together and producing something of value feels like an especially tall order. Personally, I don't feel like an AI-driven game studio is the solution to the problem we are facing in the gaming industry because, you know, while it might solve the problem of politically driven devs or ideologically driven devs, you're solving one problem by creating another, and that other problem is soulless feeling products. Anyway, I don't really have that much else to say. If you agree, leave your comments below. If you disagree, leave your comments below. What do you guys think? You down for AI games? Personally, not really. The farthest I would be willing to go is like procedurally generated maps like they had in games like Ark, but that's about as far as I'd be willing to allow. Alright, peace, I'm out.